Good day, everyone. So in the previous video, we discussed about the elements of poetry. This time, we'll be discussing about the other elements, which are rhythm, sound, and imagery. So when we say a rhythm, we are referring to the flow of beat in a poem, and it gives poetry a musical feel. It can be fast or slow depending on the subject of the poem, and rhythm in poetry is measured in meter. That's why when you are to identify the rhythm of a poem, you have to count the beats in each line or by simply considering the stressed and unstressed syllables in each line. So example, we have the poem The Picket Fence. If you are to read this, you can identify immediately that the rhythm is fast. And this is to match the speed of a stick striking the fence, which is the subject of the poem. So we say the picket fence, the picket fence. So it should be fast. Okay? And then the next poem, Where Are You Now by Mary Britton Miller. If you're to read this, you can notice that the rhythm is slow. Okay, and this is to match the night gently falling and the light slowly coming on, which is, of course, the subject of the poem. So when the night begins to fall and the sky begins to glow, you look up and see the tall city of lights begin to grow. So the rhythm is obviously slow. And then we also have the other element, which is sound. So when we say sound, we are referring to the sound devices used in poetry, which include rhyme, repetition, alliteration, and onomatopoeia. So when we say rhyme, we are referring to rhymes are words that end with the same sounds. Okay, we are referring to words which have the same final sound. So rhyming sound don't have to be spelled the same way, as long as they have the same final sound. And this is, of course, the most common sound device in poetry. We also have rhyming pattern. So when we say rhyming pattern, we are referring to the pattern, of course, of rhymes in each line of a poem. Okay, so how to identify a rhyming pattern? So we label the first rhyme or the first ending sound of a line using the first letter of the alphabet, which is letter A. So in this example, snow makes whiteness where it falls. Falls is the first ending sound, so we label it with A. Next line, the bushes look like popcorn balls. Balls rhymes with fall, so we label it also with A. The next, and places where I always play. Play the ending sound. Okay, play does not rhyme with balls anymore. So the sound changes. Therefore, the letter should also change. So it will be the second letter of the alphabet from A to B. Play. The second sound. Next, look like somewhere else today. Today rhymes with play, so we label it also with B. Next, I love noodles. Give me oodles. So oodles, first sound, label it with A. Next line, make a move up to the sun. So the sun, okay, sun does not rhyme with oodles anymore, so we label it with the next letter of the alphabet, letter B. The next, noodles are my favorite foodles. It rhymes with the first line, so we label it with A. And then the next line rhymes with the second line, sun, so we label it with B. Next, the alligator chased his tail. So tail, we always label the first sound, okay, of the first line as A. Next line, which hit him in the snout. So the sound changes, therefore the letter also changes. The label, okay, will be B. Next, he nibbled, gobbled, swallowed it. Okay, so it is another final sound of a line. So we will have another letter, which is letter C, the next letter to B. The next, and turned right inside out. Out, it rhymes with, okay, the final sound of the second line. So we also have to label it with letter B. So in this example, we have the rhyming pattern or rhyme scheme A, B, C, B. So that's for rhyming pattern. Now we have repetition. Repetition is all, of course, about repeating words or phrases or even lines in a poem. That is to give emphasis, and it also helps to create pattern and it increases the rhythm, okay, in a poem. For example, this one. Okay, someone tossed a pancake, a buttery pancake. So, someone toast a pancake. So, if you notice, someone toast a pancake was a repeated line and then the word pancake has been repeated multiple times in the poem. Next, we have alliteration. Alliteration is about the repetition of the first consonant sound in words. As in, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. So, the consonant sound P has been repeated. And same true with this one. The snake slithered silently along the sunny sidewalk. So, this consonant sound, okay, has been repeated. Next, okay. In this example, I jiggle it, juggle it, jerk it. So if you notice in the first stanza, okay, the consonant sound has been repeated in, okay, the initial of the following words. And then for the next stanza, okay, so letter P or the consonant sound has been repeated. Next, we have onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia represent the actual sound, okay, of something. So, for example, the word bark represents the sound produced by dogs. When we say bzz, okay, the buzzing of bees, the bzz sound represents the sound of bees. Okay, it appeals to our sense of hearing. Okay, so for example, scrunch, 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 crunch, crunch, crunch. Frozen in snow and brilliant ice. So if you notice, okay, the first two lines represent the sound that can be produced when you are walking on a snowy ground. That's onomatopoeia. And then we also have imagery. Imagery is used by the poets to create pictures in the minds of their readers. And in creating imagery, we are using figures of speech. Because in imagery, you have to use words or phrases that appeal to our senses. This is to help create the image in the mind of your readers, to help them imagine. So we have the following figures of speech which are used to create imagery. We have similes, metaphors, and personifications. In similes, we are to compare two different objects using the words like or as. Say for instance, we have the runner streaked like a cheetah. So we have the runner and cheetah, two different things compared through the use of the word like. Okay, next we have here an emerald is as green as grass, comparing two different objects, namely emerald and grass, using as. So we have metaphor. When we say metaphor, it is still about comparison or comparing two different objects. Only that in metaphor, the comparison is done directly. So meaning to say, without the use of words as or like. For example, when we say, the winter wind is a wolf howling at the door. So comparing wind and wolf directly. Okay, that's metaphor. Another example for the poem, the night is a big black cat. So here, the night was compared to a black cat directly by telling that the night is a big black cat. So if you are going to convert it into simile, you will just simply put the word like and as or as. You can say the night is as dark as a black cat or the night is like a black cat. Okay? Next we have personification. Personification is about giving human attributes or human traits to things that are not human or to inanimate objects. For example, when we say, the moon smiled down at me. Smiling is an action done by humans. So if you use that to describe the moon, then you are definitely employing personification. The same is true in this poem, Mr. Sun. So sun was described by using human attributes or human actions. Okay, so those are the other elements of poetry, and then in our next video, we shall be discussing about the divisions and types of poetry. Thank you for watching.